just one round. Let the oppressed rise, and let the rich mourn till the sundown. Enough with these chickens. About to make it hot, call it compound. This for my niggas, put the guns in the drugs down. Dwelling in peace till the Lord call for the bloodhounds. Try to decide my death and got beside yourself. Swore drawn for what you perform. How you gon' hide yourself? Devil's got to die for his lies and his dreams. I got no love for the crackers. Nah, just cruel intentions. And in my father's house is spinning mansions. I got plenty bitches. Worthy of vengeance. This your death sentence. I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise and fill the world with lies. Ain't die for your skin. You gon' die for your crime. I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life. Try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Till the devils that they end it still. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah. Now they shook from vicious words out this handbook. About to take these rappers back to school. My flow said it hook. They crossed the line, ain't no coming back. You became no cowards. The only thing sweet is the honey jet. Righteous is the Lord. Give me rest from my sorrow. And hand down death for them devils. There's no tomorrow. Why? Cause they violence leave a man a stiff corpse. You see a flag in a badge, I see horns in a pitchfork. Go ahead. So please believe it. The white man is a demon. And I ain't gon' vote for them to free me. No. They beat us till we the color purple. That's why this knife to they throat like ceiling. You got this nigga on his knees. They wanna have peace. We screaming, let this bitch burn at 1,000 degrees. I'm laying in the bosom of revenge. I told her I'd do anything she please as I squeeze on the double D's. Fuck you mean? I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise and fill the world with lies. Ain't die for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life. Try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Till the devils that they end it still. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah.
The police just shot him for no apparent reason. No reason at all. They asked for license and registration. That's the police officer over there that did it. With the black on. I can't really do shit because they got me handcuffed. I can't believe they just did this. I'm fucking back! Ah!
It's okay, I'm right here with you.
Shalom, 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 Israel. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You know what I'm saying? All you brothers and sisters tuning in, man, we are back from the Passover, fresh off the 57th annual Passover. The ISPK had down in Houston, Texas this past weekend. I want to start the class off by saying the water to Commanding General Yohana, generals, the captains, the officers, troopers, and assistants, but especially big shout out to Captain Yatazak and the whole team down there in Houston, all the brothers that's in Texas. all the brothers in Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm looking for, what's my city down there? Port Arthur. You know what I'm saying? All of them, the Rio Grande Valley, all the brothers, man, from Texas did a hell of a job putting together that Passover, making sure we was able to have us an amazing experience. And as just, for all of us who were able to make it, the Passover was always such a rejuvenating, refreshing experience. We live our lives every day. Most of us surrounded by people that's in the world, dealing with the issues and the problems that come along with people in the world, and it can drain your spirit. To be someone that's living in the truth, obeying the Most High, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, and constantly be surrounded by people who don't really have an understanding of the way that you live your life. That time that we get to spend among all the other brothers and sisters that we know are in this walk, that we know are, striving for righteousness, doing everything that we know to do to serve the Most High, it can really just do a lot for your spirit, do a lot for your mind, do a lot for, your strength in continuing to endure. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The title of the class is "A Time to Heal." But before we get there, let me get to I ain't do the announcements. I'm preaching Captain Soccer War, you live, with the ISUPK. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2026, there's nothing more important than God's chosen people learning the truth of who they are, where they come from, and what their purpose is on this earth. What we like to do with these classes is give brothers and sisters a chance to go into this book called the Bible, to gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has placed inside of this book, so that we can come back to being the people He called us to be, and to reclaim our righteous place on the earth as kings, priests, princesses, and daughters of Zion. With that being said, I'd like to start the class off with questions. If any brothers and sisters have questions, type them in. If anybody has questions in the room, raise your hand. If you're tuning in online, make sure that you type in your name and the city that you're tuning in from. Also, if there's any brothers that would like to join the class, to be able to be seen on the screen and ask questions, or to be able to read scriptures, all you have to do is just type in Salaki Circuit, I join the class. That go for sisters as well. If anybody wants to join in the class and be able to be seen on the screen, I can facilitate that. You just gotta let me know that you want to join in the class. But it's important for attendance record's sake that if you're tuning in, you state your name, your city, where you're tuning in from, so we can make sure we get your attendance. That's especially for young brothers that's in the school that aren't already troopers or officers, and for any sisters that are looking to, grow in the truth and become affiliated with the school. All right. So if we don't have any questions, we'll go into tonight's topic, which is a time to heal. All right. A time to heal. The Bible is very keen on the different phases that we go in and out of throughout our lives. And the Bible gives wisdom and understanding on how to face the various challenges that come with those different phases that we go through in and out of our lives. All right. And with that being said, I wanted to take this class to talk about the necessity for us all to find a time to heal. In the midst of all of the struggles, in the midst of the trouble that we find ourselves facing in life, the ISUPK is structured to teach brothers and sisters how to fight. It's designed structurally so that you'll always be able to get counsel, you'll always be able to get assistance, you'll always have someone there with you and for you to help you fight whatever it is you're battling. In addition to that, the ISUPK is also specially set up to guide brothers and sisters through periods in their life where there maybe is no need for you to fight, but rather it's a period in your life where you have to take a different approach to your problems, a different approach to your troubles, a different approach to solving the problems that you're facing. And the Bible describes to us what that time is like. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into it today. So, first scripture we're gonna go to is get Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiastes in the Bible after Proverbs, and we're gonna I think it's chapter 3. Yes, we're gonna get Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, and get Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 4. All right. All right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 1. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1. Oh, no. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, chapter 3. So, like Ecclesiastes chapter 3. We're going to start at verse 1. Bear with me. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. You understand? Meaning what? Everything has a season. Everything has a time. You know, there's a saying that there's a time and a place for everything. And that's true. Not all things are meant to happen all at once. That's why in the process of life, you're going to experience a extreme range of emotions, of experiences, of joys and pains, and all of those various things. It's important for us as we come into the truth and we grow to become who the Lord called us to be, that we have an expectation that life is going to continue to be life. You understand? Coming into the truth is not magical. The way many of us that grew up and were exposed to the religions of Christianity, maybe the religion of Islam, a lot of belief systems, there's a teaching or a sense almost that finding God or welcoming God into your life or dedicating yourself to obeying God is a magical thing. And you know, we all heard stories of people that in their times when they found God, and it was just something clicked and a light sky opened up and the bright light shined down, or they heard the voice of God, and then they dedicated themselves to serving the Most High. That's not how it happens in real life. In real life, the path to finding God and becoming who you called to be is a long and treacherous and tumultuous journey. Paul in the New Testament, when he talked about running the race for salvation, he described it as a marathon. He described, you know, striving for mastery over his spirit to someone working out in the gym and training. To grow to become the man and the woman that God called you to be is not something that happens overnight. The time it takes to learn the lessons that are required for you to have the wisdom to know how to defeat and avoid the traps and the attacks that the enemy sends our way, it requires time. It requires, lessons to be learned, mistakes to be made, trips and stumbles and falls that require you to find the strength and the courage to get back up. Understand that wherever you may find yourself, whether it's in the midst of a stumble, whether it's having just fallen down, whether it's having conquered something that you never imagined yourself being able to conquer or get over, the Lord has set a time for you to have that experience. You understand? So it's important that we glory and joy in the highs, but also keep sight and stay focused in the times that we are low. and know that no time is meant to last forever. There's no trouble that cannot be gone tomorrow. There's no joy or happiness that cannot be turned to pain. If you can accept and acknowledge that there's a time and a season for every purpose under the heaven, then you can prepare yourself to live a full life. Everybody understand? Let's keep reading Ecclesiastes 3:3. It says, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. Everybody understand? There is a time to kill, but there's also a time to heal. And sometimes in life, we can get caught up with the battling and the fighting and the killing and the purging ourselves of evil, the purging ourselves of wickedness, the purging of our flesh, so that we could become like our King, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, who the world calls Christ. That sometimes we forget that there is the need for a time to heal. And a time to kill and a time to heal are placed in opposition of one another, because that is the reality of what those two phases of life are like. It's been a little bit over a year now since I was injured and I lost my eye. And I can remember around the time that I just came home and recovered. It took me about 2 weeks to recover from my first surgery. And I remember telling myself, I can't waste this time. I can't sit at home and just lay around and, beat myself up over what I've gone through and sit around and feel sad for myself. In my mind, I needed to let this injury that I suffered be something that would push me and propel me to be a better man. You understand? To be greater in life despite my circumstances and my situation. And it was because of the strength that I've been, not the strength, but the ways that I've been taught to fight in the spirit here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana, that I was able to take on a position of, I'm not going to let this set me back. I'm not going to let this injury keep me down. I'm going to man up. I'm going to fight this thing. I'm not going to let it change me. And so a lot of you over last year, after I got injured on March 6th. Passover was first week of April last year. Last week of March, I believe. I was there. I had, patches to match my garment. I was, there talking to brothers, and I was myself. I was, strong and in the spirit. And everybody that I remember talking to brothers and people calling me and having conversations with folks. I remember after I got hurt, I made it a point to call everybody who I knew cared about me, because I wanted them to hear from me that I was okay. I wanted them to hear from me that I was at peace with this. I wanted them to hear from me that I understood this was the Lord doing, and this was a minor setback, and I'll be all right. I'll bounce back, and everything gonna be cool. And I can remember the relief that I could hear in the voices of the people I reached out to, that I was still me, that I was okay, that I was, accepting this, that I wasn't beaten up and broken about it. I wasn't sad and crying. I wasn't, miserable. And at that time, it was what I needed. I needed to be able to show that I'm all right. I did what I do with everything in life, and I fought. You understand? But having gone through some of the healing that I've gone through over the last year, I sit here today and I can tell you all that I don't remember any of that from last year. Like I remember the mindset I was in. I remember feeling the need to reach out to everybody and to reassure everybody that I was okay. I remember brothers and sisters telling me how strong I was and how well I was taking it and how they were drawing off of my strength. But I don't remember anything from last year, from the Passover, from the cookouts last summer. Hey, I took a trip to Cali and spent a week with Captain Goodallhart. I don't remember any of it. Because for much of that time, I was still very much in shock. I was still very much in shock, and I was trying to fight a thing that you really only can heal from. You understand? I was fighting something that you really only can heal from. And I think it's important that brothers and sisters understand that there are things in life that you cannot fight. You can only heal from. Now, healing how long has it been muted? Okay, Salakia for the muting, y'all. I'ma bear with me. I did not know that was muted just now. Bear with me, y'all. I need y'all to give me 2 minutes. Well, no, give me about 5 minutes. I'm gonna play a song and then I'm gonna come back. All right. I'm gonna play a song and I'm gonna come back, y'all. Bear with me.
Brother in my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary. It's all about that warfare, boy. Back up. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground. Nah, this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We would not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pass. You can either get with it or get flipped like a hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just sit the prayer up to the Lord. I told him, then let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race that made merchandise out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take round. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth. Nigga, cool yo. Go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground. Back up. Give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Oh,
Give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my actions. Yes, you said, sir. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, saved facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that them here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slip. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I'm back gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit a Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mass shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
All right. Shalom. Salaki, Ezra. I believe I might have fixed the technical difficulties. Let me get a one. One is up in the chat if y'all hearing me. Your one's up in the chat if y'all hearing me. So I see Officer Maccabi said maybe 1 or 2 minutes. The last thing you said was you can only heal from. Okay, so where I was let's go back to the scripture. Get us back where we were. All right. Let's get back to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. We're going to read verse 3. All right. Ecclesiastes 3:3 says, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. All right. So I was talking about understanding the difference between the times when we face adversities and problems in life that we have to fight, and the time in life that requires for us not to fight, but to heal. Everybody understands. And understanding the difference can be difficult for a brother or a sister who only knows how to fight. Particularly, this is for the brothers out there. A lot of us, before the truth, whatever your life was, when you come into the truth, everything is about war. Everything is about going to battle, fighting, overcoming, enduring, getting through. This, like I said, the structure of the school breeds and builds a man to exude strength and dominance and be the master of his domain. And it's amazing for the spirit of a black man in this society today to learn how to embody that strength, to learn how to be a man that handles his responsibility and faces the challenges and difficulties that life brings his way and sees it head on. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us have been fine-tuned as warrior machines, not just physically in the way that we are prepared and capable to inflict damage and deal with violence, but also in the way that we battle spiritually with the issues and the problems that may plague our relationships with our woman or with our family or with our children. The ISUPK breeds men of war. Exodus chapter 15, verse 3 says, the Most High is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. And if we are the children of the Most High, then what does that make us? That makes us men of war. But for every battle that men of war fight, there's a period where you must address the injuries that you suffered in the battle. You have to go to the infirmary and to get some ointment and some balm and some, bandages. Why? So that you can heal those wounds, so that you can recover from that battle. And I had many conversations with brothers and sisters over this past week in Houston for the Passover that made me understand that many of us are facing challenges and difficulties in our lives that we now must learn to heal from. My experience this past year recovering from the injury that took my right eye from me forced me to have to learn how to heal. And in the process of me having to heal from this physical wound that I suffered, the Lord healed me from a whole lot more. I had a conversation with General Hyman in September at the Houston Cookout. September, October. Because of the therapy that I had to go through because of my eye injury, the mental health therapy, right? And I'm going to say this. When I first got hurt, I knew that I was going to have to finally go to a mental health professional. I knew I was going to have to see somebody, right? Because my whole life I've battled with depression. I've battled with self-doubt. I've battled with my perception, how people perceive me and what they think of me and how they view me. But this thing that I knew I was going to have to battle with, me losing my eye, was something that was different. It was something I was unprepared for. The UPK, when I first came in, man, when I was 24, I was absolutely a wreck as far as being depressed, as far as, not having an identity. You know what I'm saying? As far as not knowing how to be the man that I wanted to be. And I was caught up in all types of evil that comes from being in the world, being in a society where you may be one type of person, but you feel pressure to be someone else. You may want to live your life one kind of way, but you feel pressure to have to try to fit in and to be like this and to be like that. And what that breeds is, it breeds you to be two different people. The person who you really all want to be and the person who you have to be in society. And oftentimes, you all can't live in the light. You can't be everything that you are all at one time in the world. There's a book W.B. Du Bois wrote called The Sociological Souls of Black Folk. In that book, that W.E.B. Du Bois wrote, there's a chapter where he talks distinctly about the duality of the Black American having come out of slavery. And I believe this applies to all of us in the suppression, because we learn at an early age how to be two different people. You be who you need to be in order to get that job, in order to get that education, in order to get that college degree. You learn how to talk, and you learn how to dress, and you learn how to, project and present what the world will accept. Then you go home, you clock out, you know what I'm saying? You go back home and you get to just relax and be yourself. They have a term for it called code switching. You understand? Well, code switching doesn't only happen for a job. It doesn't only happen for an education. Code switching can be something that you do to fit in with a group of friends. Code switching could be something you do as a man to not be seen as weak, or being a punk, or being a nigga that niggas could try. Code switching is something a man can do to be the man his woman needs him to be. He may want to be soft and want to cuddle all the time, but knowing if I be like that, man, this woman gonna think I'm weak. She gonna walk all over me. So I gotta be a gangster. I gotta be hardcore. I gotta act like I don't even want to hug and kiss. Some of those things some of the ways that we adapt is healthy, but there are many ways that we adapt ourselves that are unhealthy. You understand? And they cause us to be tormented and to suffer because we don't have the strength or the knowledge or the wisdom to be able to fight to take control of ourselves when it comes to matters of righteousness and unrighteousness. So when I came in the truth taught me how to fight. The truth taught me how to get control of myself. The truth woke up that part of me that always wanted to be righteous, that wanted to serve the Lord, that wanted to be the upstanding brother. And I was able to battle and fight to get control over myself from that other cat that I used to be, that I thought I had to be, that I didn't know how to get back control from. And my time in the truth has taught me how to stand strong and to fight and to be responsible and to handle my business. But I knew that the thing I was going to have to fight after losing my eye was something different. Like my whole life, I've prided myself on having discernment. Meaning what? I'm a visual person, very observant, always have been. If I go out to a spot, I'm by myself. I go out dressed like how we dress in Israel. I go to the bar, sit down, have a drink. I could be sitting there looking at the game, but out the corner of my eyes, I could be watching what everybody else is doing. Anybody that knows me, ever been out with me, the first thing I do when we go out to a spot, any spot, bar, lounge, whatever we doing, I go in the room and I make a circle around the entire room, because that's me getting a feel for the vibe that's in this place. It's me identifying where the exits. Are there any back rooms? Is there, what are the faces of the people looking like? Is they having a good time in here tonight? Is there a cat over here drunk arguing with his woman? Is there I do that when I enter any room, in any public space. One of the things I struggled with after I got injured was not being able to see the things that I was used to seeing when I would enter a room. To be able to be in a space and I cannot physically see out of this side of my face. Right now, I got my hand up. I can only see my hand. I can't see none of this over here. So now when I enter a room, that confidence that I'm safe in here is gone. The knowledge that I can protect myself, that I can defend myself, that I can get out of an impossible situation is gone. I go out with my woman. I sit facing the door so that if something was to happen, I know I can grab her, identify the danger, and we get out. I go to a restaurant now. I can't do that anymore because I'm literally physically handicapped. I knew once I got hurt, even though I know how to fight and I know how to battle and how to get through things, I knew that there was going to come a time when I would not be able to bear that reality. And that when I mentally broke, emotionally broke, I was going to need someone to help me to figure all of this out. So there was an identity crisis that I suffered after I got injured. And who am I now? If I'm not the man that can go to the club by himself or go to the bar by himself and be safe and be comfortable and know that I'm protected and I can defend myself, then how do I go into those spaces? And if I'm no longer comfortable in those spaces and I don't do those things anymore, then what do I do? Where do I? So there's a lot of things that I was going through mentally after I got injured that I knew I was going to need help for. And so I sought a mental health professional. And then going through the mental health professional, you start with those questions that I just raised. How am I to do this? How am I to do that? Meaning, I actively sought help with healing. You understand? It's very important that, brothers and sisters, you go through things in life, you deal with difficulties and you battle things and you have these traumatic experiences. Yes, the school is going to teach you how to fight. Yes, we're going to be there with you to stand strong and to keep you up and to help you battle and encourage you that you can overcome. But you have to trust that we also are here for you to heal. We're also here in the time when you have to say, Salaki, I can't do this on my own. Salaki, this hill I'm climbing is too hard. I don't know. Fighting isn't working. It isn't doing it. And if you're not careful, if you don't take the time to heal, then you will find yourself losing the love for the things that you fought to be able to enjoy. You understand? I experienced over the last year feeling like I didn't love the truth anymore. When I say that, meaning this, not that I don't love the Lord, not that I don't love being righteous, not that I don't love teaching the truth, but there were aspects of this that I can't do it. I don't care to do it. If I do it or not doesn't even matter. There was a time in my life where if I didn't go to camp, I'm miserable. I'm sad. I feel like I'm not fulfilling my purpose. The Lord, I prayed before I got injured that the Lord would free me up to be able to get back to going to camp and go teaching and going to different cities. And there was a time after I got hurt, while I was in the midst of trying to fight when I should have been healing, that I didn't care if I went to camp anymore. It didn't even matter. We got camp this weekend in Nashville. I don't feel like making that 3-hour drive. We got camp in Alabama. I don't even, whether I go or not doesn't even make a difference. We got camp in Memphis. I got one officer down here. We got to get this camp equipment together. We got to do this and do that and put this stuff together. I did it because that's what I've been trained to do. Is what I've been taught to do. I follow orders. But I didn't even care if I did it or not. That's a problem. That's a sign that something is broken. That's a sign that you are avoiding addressing something that is causing you trouble in a way that you don't even understand. And if you can relate to what I'm saying about anything in your life, then it means that you have some healing to do. You understand? Now, as I'm feeling these things, what do? Do I just sit on it? Do I just tough man my way through it? No. I pick up the phone. I call for counsel. I called General Muhammad. I talked to him. I tell him, maybe since I got hurt, I've been doing this and doing that. I've been running and tried to, be strong and everything, but there's certain things that's just not what they were anymore. And I don't know what to do about it. But I'm drowning. I'm struggling. You know what I'm saying? And I cried talking to General Muhammad because these things that I was feeling is not some shit I ever felt before. And it was scary to feel those things because the fear is I'm losing my spirit. The fear is I'm losing my strength. The fear is I'm not, I don't want to not enjoy. I don't want to be okay not going to camp. I don't want to be okay if I don't get to teach this week. I don't like that I'm that I'm okay with not doing these things. General Muhammad tells me, well, like you need to go and this is in the same council. I'm talking to him about going to see Esau for the mental health shit, to get some help. You know what I'm saying, and to be able to do what I need to do to make sure that I can get through, this thing that I'm struggling with, having lost my eye. And General Muhammad tells me, I go see Esau. Go to that therapist. You tell him the truth. I talk to him and get it off your chest and let them help you. They may give you some medicine. You take the medicine, but you don't hold nothing back when you go see Esau. Remember, scriptures tell us to honor the physician. You feel what I'm saying? So the counsel I got from General Muhammad encouraged me to trust that when I went to Esau, that when I saw a therapist, that when I talked to him about what I was experiencing, that it wouldn't be in vain. And so I go to Esau and I go to the counseling. The first session was just, general, just getting to know you stuff, what you're going through, how you feeling, what brings you here today. And I talk to the cat about me losing my eye and about the, just feeling stuck, not knowing where to go, not knowing, my this identity struggles that I had. Well, he identified it as me struggling with identity, but I go and I talk to this cat. I'm honest, I lay everything out. He tells me, I think I'm gonna be able to help you, but it's some things you're dealing with that are the result of the trauma you experienced, what you went through. And that was the first session or whatever. About a week passed, I go to the second session and we get to talking. And so we get to talking about the injury and me losing my eye and the hurt and that whole process. And there was a lot of emotional stuff that I dealt with because of my slavery. I worked at a place that was dangerous. I worked at a place that was known to hurt people. And you got to be safe and do this and that. And being who I am in the truth, I got to that slavery and I became a manager in a very short period of time. There was an opening on the safety team. I got on that safety team and I became a leader in the safety team. By the time I got hurt, I was the head safety guy over my area where I worked with like 200 people. And once first Friday of the month, we would have to gather everybody together, and I would use my camp voice and I would lead what they call the stretch and flex. Before we go to slave, before we start the shift, everybody got to stretch the arms forward, and I took over that. Right. So this is about 8 months before I got hurt. I'm the head safety guy. Everybody knows me because I lead the safety talks. And twice a month, I go meet with the managers to point out all the problems and the issues we have in the area and things that need to be addressed. And I got bullet points and all of that. When I got hurt, I was promised by one of my bosses that, man, this wasn't your fault. It wasn't nothing you could have done. That equipment shouldn't have been there. It was messed up what happened to you, man. It was a freak accident, but I'm going to take care of you. We filed this report. I'm not going to let nobody blame you. I'm not going to let nobody say you were at fault because the company I work for was famous for you get hurt, they're going to blame you. Man, I went and got so this is months after I got injured, I got the report. I ordered it from OSHA, which is the government safety organization that anytime anybody gets majorly hurt on a job, they got to report to the government what happened. I obtained the report through a Freedom of Request Act. And I read the report and they threw me under the bus. I'm talking about blame me for everything. Like it wasn't already documented what had happened and how it was a freak accident. So as I go to the therapy, I'm explaining how I felt betrayed. I felt played. I felt like they playing with my life. I lost something that I'll never be able to get back. And to read this report and to see that they lied on me, I'm angry. I'm mad. I want somebody to pay. I want somebody to apologize and go through all of that. So I go through the therapy sessions and I just want to tell y'all that there was a point in time where we began to talk about where I was mentally and emotionally and spiritually before I got hurt. And it led me down a path of talking about things that were going on in my life prior to me getting hurt. The birth of my daughter was a major thing. Me hating that I was stuck at a slavery that paid me good enough to take care of my family but took so much of my time that I wasn't able to really do the work of the Lord like I needed to. I talked about how I had prayed to God to free me from that slavery, and to show me how I would be able to take care of my family, and to show me how I would, allow me to be able to get back to the work of the Lord and doing the things that I had done that was fulfilling my purpose. You know what I'm saying? When I moved to Memphis, it wasn't for me to get no money. It wasn't for me to have a job. I had all of that. I moved here because the work of the Lord, the Lord called me to go somewhere and find where there was nobody and raise brothers up. That's what I came here for. And I felt like I wasn't doing that. And I was in a dark space, you know what I'm saying? And I felt my spirit being drained. And I explained to the therapist how I had prayed that the Lord would show me my way out. And how when I got hurt, I cried for half a second, but then the voice in my head was like, you prayed for this, huh? Like, it's over now. And when I got hurt, all of the anxiety, all of the feelings of, man, I'm gonna be stuck on this job forever. I can't quit because I got a family now. I can't quit because I won't be able to, pay for the school. I can't quit because then I had to put that pressure on my woman. Those was thoughts that was in my mind. So I had to keep the job. But the job was taking me away from the work of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The job was depressing me because of the environment. It was so much that was weighing on me that when I got hurt, it was like, you prayed for this. And that's the relief came with that, but also fear came with that, because it's like, man, I prayed to the Lord for something and he heard me and gave it to me. But him giving it to me cost me my eye. And so it was like, there was in my mind, there was an awareness that I gotta be careful what I ask for, because the Lord will do it. And if the Lord will give me what I'm praying for, then that also means I got a responsibility not to fuck this up. Like, my life ain't regular. I'm not just another guy. I'm somebody. I asked for something and the Lord boldly answered me in a way that I can't even really process to this day. But the thoughts of how I'm gonna take care of my family is gone, because these crackers got to settle me out. Being able to get back to the work, that's non-existent, because I could possibly be retired now. Now I got all the free time in the world. Be traveling and going to cities and raising up cash. I can do that now because the Lord saw fit to give me what I asked for. Then, so the therapist, I talked to him about those things. And as I'm talking to him about where I was before I got hurt, I'm mentioning how I was miserable and depressed with the job. I'm mentioning the environment I was working in. I was mentioning the birth of my daughter, mentioning, different things that I was learning and growing because of the relationship I have with my wife. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to talking about a previous relationship that I had, and someone who was very close to me for a lot of years of my life dying in a very abrupt way. Even though I hadn't had contact with them for many months, but I talked to my therapist about the death of a sister that used to be in the school. And it was in that conversation that I had about my life, being in the truth, choosing that woman, going through all the things that I went through as a man to develop myself to the point where I could know for a fact that the problems that this woman have are not a reflection of me. That all of her issues and her problems is not anything that I caused, but it's because she's choosing to be this way. And I talked to the cat about how I came to grips with all of that and whatever. And then he asked me a question, which I hadn't thought about up until that time. And this is months after I got hurt. This is about 2 years after she died. He asked me if I ever took time to grieve. And when he asked me that, I told him, grieve for what? She hold on me. She was an evil bitch. She put me through all types of shit. Now, I don't regret any of it, even in my life. I mean, to the therapist and to anybody that's ever talked to me, I never regret any of what I went through. I don't regret that sister because she helped me to become a better man. Through all the things I went through and all the trouble I had, she helped me to develop into a man that knows how to be responsible, that knows how to pay attention to the small things, that knows how to watch the things that I say and do because of how much they can impact the people that are around me. She taught me the importance of reputation, taught me the importance of making sure that you do what you say and you say what you do and then be willing to stand on that shit. So I don't have no regrets about that life, about that relationship. I thank the Lord for it. But when the therapist cat asked me if I grieved, and I said, grieve what? He said, did you ever grieve the man that you'll never be again? Did you ever take time to grieve yourself, to grieve the man that lost a woman that he cared about? And when he said that shit, it was like, I said I wasn't going to cry, y'all. And listen, I'm not crying because of anything sad or whatever, right? But sometimes the shit be heavy. But he asked me if I grieved the man that I used to be. Man, and when he said this shit, I thought about the kid that was 24 years old and when I came into the truth. And I thought about the man that did so much horrible shit in the world that when I came in the truth and I gave my life to the Most High, I prayed and asked the Lord. And if he ever gave me a wife, gave me a woman that would be in the truth, that would serve him, that I would do everything to honor that marriage and to honor that woman. And that I would never turn my back on her. I would never put her away. I would never do anything evil to that woman. And I thought about the brother that went against counsel because I had already chosen this woman. Brother that tried to figure it out on his own and went against counsel because I thought I knew what I was doing. And I just, in that moment, so much shit went through my mind, y'all. And I cried. I ain't never cried in my life. Some shit came out of me sitting in that office with that devil, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't even know was in me. But when I tell y'all, man, the shit freed me. It freed me, man. It opened up so much. Like a weight that I had been carrying was lifted. The weight that I was carrying was taken away. And I felt the freedom that I can't really describe. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm crying over the reality that I never stopped to grieve myself, the cat handed me a little piece of paper. And the little piece of paper the cat handed me was like a chart. And on the bottom was a green zone, right? And in the middle was like a yellow zone. And at the top was a red zone. And what was listed on this sheet were physiological reactions to trauma, right? And at the bottom was like light trauma, or it was like no trauma. You good, healthy, enjoying life. You organize and set things, and you on time for stuff, and you somebody who got their life in order. Basically, is in the green zone. Yellow zone is kind of a little anxiety, a little unsurety. Need reassurance, not sure about things. You need help, need guidance, and it's like being in the middle zone is kind of someone coming into the truth. You need help, you get counsel, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about your problems, you're working it out. You're in the process of becoming brand new. And then the red zone up top, the danger zone, was everything I was describing to y'all. The danger zone was, you don't enjoy, you can't find joy out of things. Either you don't sleep enough or you sleep too much. You can't find a way to eat right, and so you're gaining weight, or your body's not in a healthy place. Things they used to motivate you, things you used to feel good about. There's a lot of melancholy. You don't care. You don't really feel good about it. And as he showed me this chart, he said, you're up here. You're in a danger zone, and what you're going through is not spiritual. It's not mental. He said it's a natural bodily response to trauma. He said all of us are wired to have one or two responses to extreme trauma. Either you're fighting or you're running. That's it. We all are predisposed physically. Meaning this is some shit that ain't spiritual. It ain't a demon. It ain't emotional. It ain't you're unstable or you're crazy or nothing like that. It's you face danger. Either your body is going to go into flight mode or your body is going to go into fight mode. And whichever one of those modes you go into, it takes time to heal, to process, to address that trauma in order to bring you back to a centered position so that you can get back into the green zone. And as he's explaining this to me, I'm reading it and I'm thinking about my life, thinking about the things I've been through. And then the devil said to me, he said, you are not struggling because you are weak. You are not struggling because you are not strong enough. You are not struggling because you're not fighting hard enough. You are struggling because you have not allowed yourself time to heal. I was already crying. He said that shit. It was like I had tears in places I didn't know I had tears. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, after I got hurt, the man you all saw last year, the Passover, at all the cookouts at the events and moving normal as though nothing happened to me, that was a man that was in fight mode. I was in a shock. I was in a shock response. I was shocked. And I didn't know how to rest. I didn't know how to relax. So I just kept moving. I just kept moving. I kept acting like everything was all right. Everything was normal. When really on the inside, I was on autopilot. I'm saying not really feeling anything, not really processing anything, not really taking anything in. I tell y'all, like I said, I don't remember last year at all. Because whatever I did after I got hurt until I went and saw this therapist, it was just a big blur. But when he told me that what I was feeling wasn't a result of, me being weak, I was able to accept that something horrible happened to me and that it was okay for me to be able to just do nothing because I needed to heal. That I was okay to do nothing so that I could, process this. And being in the truth, Akim, that was the hardest thing for me to do. I didn't know how to do it until I sat in that therapy with that guy, and he told me these things that I needed to hear so that I could just rest. But I'm telling y'all this to say, after these things were revealed to me in this therapy session, I was paralyzed for about a month, meaning being given permission to heal, being given permission to accept that I was hurt, being given permission to grieve caused me to have to reset. And that reset caused me to have to shut down. I just shut down. And if it wasn't for me being at home, receiving workers' comp and all those things, that reset would have been, it could have ruined my life. Meaning, I'm teaching this class and I'm talking about this because I want for brothers and sisters who have trauma that they have not addressed, who have grief that they have not faced, who have something difficult that they have not taken the time to heal from, to go and get counsel, go and see a therapist, go and do what you have to do so that you can begin to heal. Because if you put it off, your body's going to force you to have to heal. Your body's going to force you to have to sit still. And if it comes at you in a time that you are not prepared for it, it could paralyze you, could shut you down. And so I know that some of the things that I go through is not for me. Some of these things I go through, not some of these things, my entire life, everything I've ever dealt with, I go through it and I don't know why am I going through this. I don't know what the purpose is. What I know is that whatever I go through, the Lord is with me. He'll bring me out of it. Let me get some scriptures. So these are some scriptures that's going to help you with healing. These are some scriptures that's going to help you acknowledge that you've been hurt, that you faced something traumatic, and that you have to allow yourself time to heal. You understand? Yeah, you have to allow yourself time to be able to accept that there's a process that you have to go through in order to become the person that the Lord wants you to be, having gone through what you've been through. Everybody understands? So these are some scriptures that help me out. And listen, I'm a man of the Lord, been in the truth 15 years of my life. The Most High used the Edomite therapist to give me scriptures to help me to be okay with healing, to be okay with, the problems and the troubles and the things that I was going through as a result of me getting injured and losing my eye. All right, so we got Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. There's to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. All right, Ecclesiastes 3:3, a time to kill and a time to heal. There is a time to fight, and there's also a time to not fight, because healing requires you to be healed. Healing requires you to accept help, accept treatment, to put that balm on, to put that bandage on, to take the medicine that you need that's going to help you to get over the thing that has happened to you. You understand? Healing is not just physical. Healing is spiritual. Healing is mental. Healing is emotional. Everybody understands? So as you go to face whatever your trauma is, whatever your trouble is, you have to remember this. Let's get Romans chapter 8, verse 28. Get Romans chapter 8, verse 28. Romans 8 and 28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. You understand? You have to know that while you take time to heal, you have to go through this difficulty. You have to go through this hardship. You have to experience these emotions and process the pain and the hurt and the doubt and the second guessing and the why me's in order for to become who the Lord called you to be. The process of healing is not an easy one. To be a man and a woman of the Lord, to know the truth and to know who our oppressor is, to trust their system, to go and talk to someone about your problems and talk to someone about your traumas, and to trust that they're gonna, not shame you or not, do something horrible. You got to know that all things work together for good for them that love the Most High and are called according to his purpose. You understand? And for some of us, therapy is one of those things that is needed. Talking to someone about your life and the horrors and the traumas and the tragedies and the sufferings and the losses that you faced, for some of us is necessary. For some of us, whatever you have to go through to find a time for you to heal, you have to trust that it's the Lord that's doing it. Everybody understands. But yeah, when I first began to heal, I shut down for about a month. I just, it looked a lot like depression, just a lot of sleeping, not really wanting to do nothing. Now I got a wife, I got a daughter. I still got to get up. I still got to, participate. I still got to be present. There's still decisions that need to be made. But as far as like my desire or me wanting or enjoying it or even now remembering it, No. But I kept teaching classes. I kept going, watching classes. I kept going to the therapy sessions. And I say about a month, 4 or 5 weeks, I began to start to feel again. You know what I'm saying? Started to feel again. And there were things that I began to look forward to. Began to look forward to the Passover. Began to look forward to, and listen, in this process of time I'm talking about, man, we lost the school. You know what I'm saying? And the money, I'm not making the money I was making before. Money started to dry up a little bit. I could have went to the school. I could have put in a request. I could have did, but being in the mindset of it's not even important right now. Don't even worry about it. Let the school go. I'm back teaching classes in my spot. Set up a room that was supposed to be my daughter's room. It turned into the priest's office. You know what I'm saying? And teaching class and things, and Passover this week was a huge step for me in my healing process, because I was able to have conversations and I was able to talk to brothers and sisters, and because of the work that I've put in to heal myself, I was able to recognize in brothers and sisters that some of us are in that danger zone. Some of us are in that place where we have to address some things. And if we don't address them on our own accord, the Lord is going to force it on us. We are living in a time that is not. We living in a more spiritual time than we were 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And you can see it with what's going on in the world. These prophecies are coming to pass. The Lord is doing everything he said he was going to do. And we got to know that there's no one righteous that's going to enter the kingdom of heaven. There is no imperfect. There's nobody that's not perfect that's going to get a crown on their head. And so as the time gets shorter, that means mercy and grace is going to diminish, because the Lord is looking at us like we should know better. The Lord is looking at us like, why would you not do everything you're supposed to do? Why would you not become who I called you to become? There are no excuses. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has everything that you need in order to become the man and the woman that God called you to be. A failure to achieve that is a reflection of you, not a reflection of the school. You not calling to get counsel is a you problem. I had so many brothers this weekend tell me, man, Cap, I ain't call you because I know you're going through some stuff, man. I ain't feel like I ain't want to bother you. And I told those brothers that was an insult to me. It is insulting if you think that my problems stops me from helping you with yours. It's like you saying I'm a weak ass nigga and I can't do my job. I know you didn't mean it that way. That's not what you said. I'm just telling you how I receive it. If you think that me losing this eye means I can't answer your phone call and help you with your problems and give you some counsel, then you think I'm a bitch ass nigga that can't deal with my own shit and let the Lord use me. It's absolutely disrespectful to this office and disrespectful to the sacrifices that all of us have made for you to think that thinking about what I need is more important than thinking about what you need. And I told brothers, I've sat in this house many days wishing there was more work I could be doing, wishing there was more things I could be accomplishing. There have been a lot of opportunities in the last year for me to go to events and go to places and go to things. I can't go. Why? Because I got one eye and I got a brother who I got certain things, is limitations. There's things I can't do. And I got to sit here in a city where all types of shit is going on in this city and I'm not able to be there because I'm healing from an eyeball. I'm just sitting in the house feeling like I'm wasting my life away. And there's brothers who need counsel, who need help, sisters who need counsel, who need help, that are not calling me to help me fulfill my purpose and feel better about myself because you're thinking about what I got going on. How dare you? Shame on you for considering me and not considering yourself. Don't you know that we in this thing to get salvation, to be blessed by God? You gonna let thinking about what I'm going through stop you from getting the help so you can be a better person? That's some dumbass shit if I ever heard it. Excuse my language. That's dumb as hell. General Hyman talk in class all the time about how he got to work out and he got 4 wives. And I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn about none of that when I need help. Salakia, sir, I need some help. I've in all my years of the truth, General Hyman ain't never answered the phone and said, Salakia, I'm in this gym right now. I don't give a fuck about that. I need help. I've never called a man over me and he not answered his phone, you know what I'm saying, or didn't call me back because Salakia, I was going through some things. What are you talking about? You don't care enough about yourself to get the help you need. If your excuse is, well, I thought the brother might have been busy. You just don't give a fuck enough. I don't know about y'all, but my salvation is the most important thing to me in my life. And I'm not going to let anybody or anything stop me from becoming who God called me to be so that I can be rewarded. And you better do the same thing. You better be doing everything possible, exhausting every resource, looking under every nook and cranny for help so that you can become who you need to be. Sitting around and knowing that there's things wrong with you that you just refuse to get helped, that's a you problem. Salaki, I stopped short earlier in saying that in the midst of me being in trouble and going through what I was going through, I went and got counsel from General Hyman in Houston. And as I go to get the counsel from General Hyman, we had a conversation. And after this conversation, General Hyman tells me that he's been waiting to have this conversation with me for 15 years. He said, this shit you just said to me, I've been waiting for you to say that to me for 15 years. And I felt bad. I felt so bad that for 15 years I ran from him because I was afraid of what getting his help might cost me. I need y'all to understand that. I was in the truth for 15 years, battling something, dealing with something, troubled by something in the back of my mind that I did not get help from because I was afraid of what the help might mean for me. The Lord took my eye so that I would have to face these things. The Lord took my right eye so I would have to go to therapy with Esau. So I would have to cry and grieve over a woman, over myself that I lost many years ago, making a horrible decision. I was paralyzed for a month. I don't remember all of last year. All because of some shit that I could have addressed 15 years ago, I held on to because I didn't want to face the help that would come. I cannot imagine what you are holding on to. I cannot imagine what you are ashamed to confess. I can't imagine what difficult thing you've gone through in life that you don't want to get help for. But I am telling you, I am pleading with you, you have to get help. You have to say, I'm fucked up and I don't know how to get better. And I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of waiting for the day when I get exposed. Why wait for the day when you get exposed when you could just go confess? Well, I know why. It's because you're scared. It's because you're ashamed. It's because you haven't grieved yet. Please do yourself a favor and get ahead of the healing, or the Lord will force you to heal. And I'm saying this to help, also to warn. Do you understand? I'm doing this praying the Lord will help you the way he helped me. If you don't get the help, the Lord is going to require it anyway. So that thing you're ashamed of, you need to go get some help, or else the shame you're afraid of is going to manifest itself. That thing that's in the dark that you hope nobody finds out about, that you're suffering silently with, you better go get some help, or else it's not going to be your dark little secret anymore. It's not going to be your hidden private shame. It's going to be on full display for everybody to see. We are no longer in a time to play games. We're no longer in a time to pretend and to act like everything is all right. We are no longer living in a time where the Lord is going to accept us failing. We are in a time where it is literally going to be life or death. And the only way you're going to live is if you are pleasing the Lord. All of us have been, the scripture says this, that the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. We are coming up on the time of harvest. And the laborers that the Lord has, He's going to push them to their max. He's about to try us to get everything that He can get out of us. And we must be prepared for Him to use us. Because He's going to use us whether we want to or like to be used or not. Some of us are going to be used the way I'm described, the way I'm being used right now. Others are going to be used because they're going to be the lesson of what happens when you don't address your shit. There's some of us that are going to be the example of what happens when you run from the Lord and He catches you. I thank the Most High that I came into the truth because I realized I can't run anymore. I thank the Most High that He took my eye when I didn't recognize that I was running again. And He sat me down and had me to face myself and to heal. I thank the Lord that He saw fit for 14 years, 13 years for me to not have children. I've been praying for a long time. I thank the Lord that He saw fit to have mercy on me to wait until I was deserving of a good woman to have children. I thank the Lord that in the midst of not having a purpose and not feeling anything, I had a little girl to look at and say, you can't not do nothing because the Lord gave her to you because you have got to show her who she needs to be. You've got to lift her up and propel her to be a daughter of Zion in this evil, cruel world. For all of us, there are things that there are little blessings that the Lord has given us along the way that we have to understand that those blessings are our responsibility. You understand? Those blessings are our responsibility. The Lord is not doing these things for you because of the kindness of His heart, because He's just such a gentle, loving God. He's doing it because there's something that He needs to get out of you. He put it inside of you, and He let you find the truth so that you can grow it and develop it, and He wants it to go out into the world. He wants it to go out into the world and do something amazing, and if He got to make you hurt in order to do that, then He'll do it. If He got to make you suffer in order to do that, then He'll do it. Or you could just accept your calling, fight what you got to fight, face what you got to face, and then heal from what you got to heal from. Either way, the Lord gonna have His way. You know what I'm saying? And I thank the Lord. Like I said, this past weekend was a huge step in my healing. It let me know that I left Houston this weekend feeling like This is why I had to go through the last year. All that shit I was going through was so that I would be able to tell brothers and sisters what I've told them over this past week. And every year after the Passover, there's a rejuvenation, there's a feeling, there's a freshness, there's a a desire to hit the ground running and go and run, and it's beautiful. I need it. I look forward to it every year. But this year was something different. You know what I'm saying? I've continued the therapy. I still go to therapy once every 2 weeks now. It's not every week. I'm out of the red. You know what I'm saying? I'm teetering in between the yellow and the green. I'm still battling, still struggling with some things. You know what I'm saying? Some of these things I may struggle with forever. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of it is gone. A lot of the anxiety, a lot of the questioning of myself of, who am I? What is my identity? What am I? How do I go through life and accept that I'm not the man I used to be? A lot of that is gone now. You know what I'm saying? I've addressed it. I've healed from it. I'm better because of it. You know what I'm saying? And I thank the Lord. I thank the Lord that He's always allowed me to understand why me. And that's one of the most difficult things for us to accept. I remember when I was young in the truth, I used to ask, I asked in class one time, like, why we got to suffer these things? Why we got to go through these things? And I remember General Muhammad saying, why not you? Like, who are you that you above suffering, that you above going through things? And that generated a fighting spirit in me. It generated you right, yeah. Why not me? I was an evil nigga. I did horrible shit. I did messed up stuff. But then it's hard. That same answer doesn't work for why does the Lord bless me this way? Why does He always bring glory to my life? What have I done to deserve this? What have I done? When I got hurt and I was still in the shop and moving around, all the people that told me how strong I was and how much of an inspiration I was to them and how, man, you so strong, Cap, you this and that, I did not understand it because I did not do anything. I fucking got hurt. I lost my eye. And I get it now. At the time, though, I'm like, what the fuck was I supposed to do? Just lay around, just be sad and shit and depressed? Like, nah, what kind of shit is that? But the UPK gave that to me. That's the spirit of the Lord. The UPK gave me the strength of, hey, I heard Salaki. There's a brother, Gabar Ya Allah. Y'all might not know Gabar Ya Allah. Some of y'all that's young in the truth. Gabar Ya Allah is Sammy Bolden on Facebook. Gabar Ya Allah is a young brother. I was young in the truth. He was an officer out of Camden, New Jersey. And Gabar Ya Allah was there for me in one of them times in my life when, shit was rough. You understand? Gabar Ya Allah, because of his personal dealings in life and personal things he got going on, he hasn't been active in the work for a long time. But Gabar Ya Allah never dropped his sword. Gabar Ya Allah never stopped being a man of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Never stopped being a brother. You understand? And after I got hurt, I posted the videos of me telling you all what happened, telling you all how I was doing, because I didn't want nobody worried about me. I did not want no one pitying me and feeling bad. And, oh, man, he lost his eye. I'm not even that type of guy. I'll be all right. I'll be straight. Don't worry about me. I remember Gabar Ya Allah called me and was like, damn, Sock, what happened? And I was like, man, I got him, told him about the accident and shit. He was like, damn, Sock, he said, damn, Sock, you got in a fight with a they call them damn things. You got in a fight with a baggage cart and won. And I laughed and shit, because it was funny, but it was, so many people was telling me how strong I was, and all I could think of was, I didn't even do shit. What are y'all talking about? Like, I lost my eye. Fuck. What I'm gonna do? Life give you lemons, you make lemonade. You feel what I'm saying? I lost the eye, so I threw some patches on there. Losing an eye gonna stop me from being fresh? I'm gonna lose an eye and not be fly no more? I mean, I didn't know any other way to be. And I learned that from the school. But when it came time for me to cry about losing my eye, when it came time for me to grieve that I'll never be the man that I used to be, that could go to the club and just sit in there and be able to observe everything and know what's going on, and the drama pop off, I'm gonna be all right. Nothing prepared me for how to accept that. Nothing prepared me for, the crying with my Edomite therapist. That's, talking to me and saying nice things, praying with me, ask me, could he pray for me? Giving me scriptures in the Bible. I'm lost and he'd give me scriptures that's like, well, damn, I needed that, Mr. Esau, the water. There's been plenty of times I left therapy like, that was the Lord. For someone who's doesn't understand the Lord, you can struggle with that. For someone who doesn't understand the Lord, it make you question the truth. But you have to understand that the Lord will use anybody to heal you because you're one of his children. The Lord could use anybody to bring you out of darkness because you're one of his children. Go read the stories in the scriptures. There's been heathens all along the way that help brothers and sisters get out of their horrible spots. When Joseph was in prison, it was an Egyptian nigga that had a dream that got Joseph out of prison. Nobody from his family showed up to deliver him. When Daniel was in the lion's den, the people who had him thrown in there, somebody had a vision or a dream. The Lord talked to them and went and got Daniel out the lion's den. When Abraham gave his wife up to Pharaoh or to the man in Egypt, that cat had a nightmare and woke up like, bro, I got to give this man back his woman or I'm going to die. The Lord will use an Edomite who probably is conservative with goddamn the Confederate flag on the back of his car. You'll go and sit in therapy or go to the doctors and they'll heal you. The Lord will use them to speak life into you and to build you up. And you better not be afraid of it. You better not run from it. You better trust the Lord and be selfish about your salvation. Be selfish about what you need in order to be able to become who God called you to be so that you can make it into the kingdom. Don't let nobody else get in the way of you working out your salvation. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I got to do this for me. And I thank the Lord for the generals and the captains and the officers. I thank the Lord for all of your love for me, that a lot of times I can't fail. Well, listen, I know the impact that I have on people, and the weight of it is important. At times, it's a weight that's you better not fuck this up, and at other times, it's a weight that, well, you got to say something, man. You got to tell them, because if you don't tell them and they suffer, it'll be your fault. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this class is for. Many of us are in a time that we have to heal. And so I just pray the Lord will help brothers and sisters to recognize that there is a difference between fighting and there's a difference between healing. Both of them are a battle. Both of them require you to face something that's scary, to face something that's difficult. Both of them require courage. Both of them require zeal. Both of them require you allowing the Most High to do his thing. And we're in a time where not facing that is not going to be enough for us. All right, one more scripture before we close out the class. I'm going to be teaching more. There's going to be a theme in some of these classes going forward that is about going to counsel, getting help, facing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like doing the difficult thing that you have to do so that you can be right in your own mind. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us strive to be who we know will make the men above us proud. A lot of you women strive to be who you know your husband will be proud of. You suffer silently. You in hell. But as long as he's happy, as long as he knows, you're like, damn that. Fuck that. You a sister that's married to a man in here, you're going to need to be able to be as vulnerable and as weak and as, open with him, because he needs to become the man that he has to be able to help you, to honor you. Listen, man, I don't talk a lot about, I try not to talk too much about my personal shit, right? But this sister Shower Bar that I have as my wife now, the mother of my daughter, and I don't do it because she doesn't like being in the spotlight. I used to think it was fake modesty, like, bitch, you know what you're doing, but she doesn't, she's just who she is. She doesn't really try or go out her way, but she's an amazing woman, right? I'm telling y'all that a lot of this healing I've done in the last year, a lot of the realizations of ways that I was moving and things that I was doing that needed to be addressed, I would not have been able to recognize it without her in my life. And I thank the Lord that he put a woman in my life that would not be silent about watching me fuck up. She never argued with me. It never was no loud and nigga, but it's always been a quiet, like, Sock, what you doing? Why you doing that? You better than that. Didn't you tell me when we met that it would be this and that? And there's times I'm used to a toxic bitch, want to yell and argue and fight. So I'm used to, bitch, watch your mouth. Don't talk to me like that. Shut the fuck up. But the way that she would ask things and say things, it would be like, in my head, it's like, this bitch, shut the fuck up. But then in the priest part of me is like, she right though, bro. You a wild. So it's like, nigga, how do you deal with that? If you're used to women who you know are wrong and insecure and jealous, and the shit they saying is coming from a place that you can easily dismiss, that's one thing to learn. But then to learn to hear a woman who's really just wants to know, why are you fucking up? It make you feel like, I can't let her down. I can't not be the man she need me to be, because ain't that why I am who I am? We as men in the Lord, right? We boast ourselves. We can have more than one woman. I can handle this and that. But then you get mad when your woman keep it real with you. Nah, you can't be that nigga. So if she keeping it real with you and it bothers you and you mad about it, then maybe you should fix yourself. Maybe you should heal. Maybe you got to go and search and find out some things that you don't know about yourself that will make you be like, okay, now she can't say shit. Some of you brothers, some of you sisters, you are robbing your husband of the opportunity to become a better man because you swallow and eat his shit and never say anything to him. Or when you say something to him, you do it in a way that is nagging and bitching so a nigga could dismiss you and be like, yeah, that bitch stupid, fuck her. Sisters, you better find a way to talk to your man and to speak to him in a way that he cannot deny that what you're saying is right. And let him have to deal with it internally. Let him have to say to himself, hey, Ma, you really just going, she ain't wrong. She ain't wrong. Huh? You got to address that shit. You got to do something about that. And let it make him better. Or he'll just keep being whatever he is to you, and you'll just keep eating shit, and you'll just be miserable. One day you'll just leave the truth, and he'll go find another bitch, and then she'll be miserable and unhappy with him too, and he'll just keep repeating that process because no woman is woman enough to just call him out on his bullshit, just as peacefully, submissively. After y'all done got unclean and you're laying in bed, just kind of whisper, I know the thing you're doing, you don't want to do it, and you keep doing it anyway. Well, baby, maybe you should just get some help. You don't got to keep doing things you don't want to do and then dealing with the consequences. Find a way, sisters. But a lot of you sitting there suffering, miserable, not getting what you want, and you just going along with it because I don't know why, whatever goofiness you got going on. But as a woman, you could do a lot to impact a man's life, to make him to be better, to make him see himself as deserving more. But you got to become a woman that the Lord could use in that way. Some of you sisters, some of you sisters are marrying men you never even talked to. You just saw him, saw his garment, saw his beard. You saw looked at his jeans and said, I bet you he carrying. And then you married him, and yes, you got what you needed to get. But then you find out this nigga don't even have conversations. This nigga don't even communicate. He don't talk. Now, hold up now. In the school, there's a rule. You court somebody for 6 months, and after 6 months, you can marry. You mean to tell me in the 6 months you and this man courted, you didn't talk to this nigga? In the 6 months that you waited for him to have sex with you, you did not find out that he shuts down when he's challenged? In the time that you was courting this man, you didn't find out that he was not going to teach you the Bible at home? You didn't find out that he wouldn't want to answer your questions in the Bible? You mad now. You married this man. He don't talk to you. He don't read the Bible with you. Don't say the prayers with you at home. Every time you bring up a problem you got, he tell you stupid and to shut up and leave him alone. Whenever he's going through something that has nothing to do with you, he shuts down and isolates himself and doesn't want to be bothered. And that makes you feel like you're being ostracized or put to the side. And you didn't know none of this before you had sex with him? That's a you problem. It's not a him problem. That brother being that way is perfectly fine. You know what that brother that is that way should do? Never get a wife. He should never get a wife. The man who doesn't talk, the man who ain't trying to hear that shit, the man who got too much on his mind and is too stressed to deal with your nonsense should just have no wife. He should get no pussy. But guess what? He gets all the pussy because you women don't value your pussy. You give your vagina to a man that you've never talked to. And we don't find out in the school till a year later. The priests that counsel you, that get you help, don't find out until a year after you've been having sex with this man once a week that he doesn't talk. What do you want us to do about it? How am I going to help you with this man that don't talk? What am I going to tell him? He got to talk to you? That's not going to make him talk. He should be able to be a man that doesn't talk. He should also be able to be a man that doesn't get no vagina. Because what nigga gets vagina? I know what nigga gets vagina that doesn't talk. Y'all all know what nigga gets vagina that doesn't talk. But woman, why would you think that you giving him vagina would make him talk? It's just, what are we talking about? What are we doing here? The Lord ain't playing games. You get out the truth, what you want to get out of it. You think that we don't all know that it's very rare that a woman comes into the truth without a husband and doesn't want a husband. We know that you want a husband, but you choosing who you want is your choice. So when you choose that man and you marry him, no one cares about whatever problems you have with him because you chose him. A lot of these issues and problems brothers and sisters are having could have been avoided if you just did what we tell you to do, which is to take the courting process to get to know one another, to talk to one another. If you talk with someone, if a man talks with a woman enough, you're going to find something y'all don't agree about. And guess what happens when we find something we don't agree about? We find out how we both handle conflict. How do we resolve issues? Most men, the way they resolve issues with a woman is to ignore her. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm just going to shut down. Most women don't want a man to shut down. Most times when a woman is arguing with you, she wants a resolution. She wants a solution to her problem. She wants you to fix something that is going wrong. But if you shut down every time she needs something fixed and don't give her the fixing, then it's not going to work. It shouldn't not work a year after y'all been together. It should have never been a relationship because you found out after a week we disagreed on something. I gave her the solution and it wasn't enough for her. Or we disagreed on something and he just shut down. Sir didn't call me for 3 days. Okay. And so after he did that, the next time y'all talked, what happened? Did he address the issue or address the problem? No, sir. He acted like nothing ever happened. Okay. So after you saw that when you bring up problems and he shuts down and doesn't talk to you for 3 days and then acts like nothing ever happened. You still thought it was okay to have sex with him? Concert. Why? Did you ever think that what he showed you would change? Well, I just thought maybe, after we were together, so you thought your vagina was going to change him. You thought you had magic vagina there. Once you had sex with this man, he would now magically be a man that talks when he has problems, talks when things are difficult. That he would no longer be a man that ignores you for 3 days because you had sex with him. You thought he was going to now be a man that talks. Okay. That's your fault. You should have got counsel. All right, I got to end the class because I'll just be here all night. We in a time where the Lord is not playing. And not that he ever was playing, right? But we're about to start seeing it live and in action more. There's going to be things occurring that we cannot doubt that was the power of the Lord. Be on the right side of the Lord manifesting his power in the earth. Don't be on the wrong side. With that, with Israelites, Salak, I gave this last scripture. Salak, I gave this last scripture. My bad. Let's get James chapter 5, verse 14. James 5 and 14. Salakia, Dawada Ace. Salakia. And I'll be here all night. I don't want to feel like I'm, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to beat a dead horse. Dawada, I'll run all night. I can't do it. I got to end the class. You know what I'm saying? Brothers and sisters got questions, ask them. Also, too, if you need counsel, call. Please call for counsel. I'm available. All the men of the Lord are available. There's no reason for you not to call to get counsel. There's no reason for you not to call to get hurt. Also, too, this is another thing to help brothers out with your relationships and your woman. You having a problem with your woman, call privately to get help. Don't have her call, or don't call while she's there in the midst of the argument. It robs you of your authority in your marriage. Call separately. Salakia, sir, this is a situation. This is the thing. It could be something. Salakia, sir, man, my rib caught me, man. I told her I wasn't dealing with nobody, and she busted in the room, and I was right there in the act. And now she mad, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell her. Call and get some help. Salakia, sir, my rib went through my phone, man. Found out I met some chick on a dating app, and I sent, you know what I'm saying? I sent pictures of my rod to her. Call and get some help. So, Salakia, sir, I told her I was going to go get the milk, and I ain't been home in 3 days. You know what I'm saying? That I can't call and get some help. Whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, you have to get help. Not getting help does not make it any better. Putting it off on your woman to get the help does not make it any better. Brothers, you have to man up and handle your responsibilities. And I'm going to tell y'all, what helped me become the man I am is about 2 years after I was dealing with that sister, General Muhammad told me don't call him no more. Because I would call General Muhammad after the police had been called. Or after I needed to call the police, I called General Muhammad. She be in the background cussing and throwing shit, breaking shit. And General Muhammad would say, you need to get up out of there. You need me to send somebody to come get you. And General Muhammad would send Captain Tawar to come get me. Captain Tawar every time would drive 30 minutes away on the other side of Philly to come get me. And I would ride with Captain Tawar and we'd talk. And I'd tell him, man, after that bitch, whatever, he'd take me to go get a drink. I'd spend the night on his couch. And the next morning I would get up like, well, she ain't drunk no more. I could go home. And every time Captain Tawar would be disappointed in me, like, nigga, I didn't come get you just to take you back over there. But he never said it. He never would say it. He just like, you sure you want to go back? Cuz, sir, I'm sure. And I would go back over there. And then I would have to see General Muhammad the next day at the school. And he would be like, why'd you go back over there after what happened? And I would tell him, Salakia, sir, where else am I going to go? At the time, there was a barracks in Philly. You can go stay in the barracks. I was not going to stay in the barracks, Salakia. I was not going to go do that. But so I'm like, I got to make it right. Or I can go back to my mother's basement in D.C. I'm not going back to my mother's basement. I'm not going to the barracks. So I went back over there. After like the third time, General Muhammad told me, do not call me no more. I don't care what's happening. I don't care if she has to die or you have to die. Do not call me about this woman anymore because you don't want help. You just want someone to go through it with you, and that's not what we are here for. We are not here to waste time going through your marriage problems. You got to be a man and handle your woman and fix it. That is what led me down the path of analyzing myself and looking at myself and observing myself, and to say, am I the one causing this woman to be this way, or is she just this way anyway? Another thing that I didn't do, I did not get to know this woman as well as I needed to before I married her. There was a lot of things that came to light as soon as I made her my wife, like the fact that she smoked cigarettes and a lot of other stuff. And it was like, bro, what? General Haas used to always say, you don't know a woman till you have sex with her. And I just thought that was old man, uncle wisdom. Just, you don't really know a broad till you get. No, General Haas was saying, you don't know the demons are until they're yours to deal with. And I found out with that woman, like, it was crazy. But General Hyman told me don't call him no more. So guess what? Now when I got an issue, got a problem, I had to figure it out. I had to solve it. If I needed to leave, I had to go walk 20 minutes to the bus stop, get on that bus and travel an hour to North Philly, transfer the train, get on another train for 30 minutes, get off the train, get on the bus for 15 minutes, and then get to Captain Tyler Ward's house. By that time, it was sunlight. I just got back on the train, on the bus, and went back across town and got home to where I would just sleep at the bus stop. Fuck it. I got to just leave till the drunk wear off. I'll go sleep at the bus stop, or I'll go walk around. But I had to figure it out. Brothers, you got to wear out the men of the Lord until it gets to that point. But if you're not even calling for your issues or getting help with your problems because you're ashamed or you feel some kind of way, or you think the man above you got too much of his own personal stuff to deal with to help you with your stuff, then that's a you problem. And you're going to fail. You're going to fail at life. You're going to fail at being who the Lord called you to be. You're never going to be righteous enough for the Lord to look at you and say, I'm pleased with your service. And then when Christ comes back, it's going to be bad for a lot of us. It's going to be bad for a lot of us because we're not going to be prepared. And there's going to be a lot of people that stand before the Lord, and he's going to be like, I don't even know you. Why? Because the time that I tried to get you to heal and to grow and to mature and to be better, you ran from it. Don't run from it. Not no more. We can't run from it. Because if we don't, the Lord will make something happen. He'll make something happen. He made me lose my eye so that I would face the things that I didn't face for 15 years, to where I was so miserable and depressed and sad that I got counsel from General Hyman, and he said, I've been waiting to have this conversation with you for 15 years. Don't do that. Don't put it off that long. You might not have that long. The way the world is going, you probably got a week. Confess. Get some help. Go see Esau. Go to the therapist. Talk to him. Tell him your issues. They may prescribe you medicine. You may sit in that room and they show you that chart and you be in the red zone. Don't be mad. Don't hate him on the white man, the devil. You don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, he do. The Bible says he's a cunning hunter. He knows how to stalk and study some prey. The white man didn't study man enough to know, yeah, you in the danger zone and you need to do this, you need to do that, this is how you're going to heal. And you should do what the scriptures say, have faith in the Most High and honor the physician for the purpose that he was called. Everybody understands. Last scripture, this is James chapter 5, verse 14. It says, is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church. Why the elders of the church? Call for counsel. Call the generals. Call a captain. Call your camp leader. Go start with your camp leader first. So like if I'm going through something with my rib, you know what I'm saying? So it's a touchy situation. I was wondering if I could call Captain Soccer Wall. I was wondering if I could call General Muhammad. And then your camp leader will say, come, go ahead and do your thing. And then you just go and do it that way. Go through the proper chain of command, but make the call. Don't sit on whatever you're going through and think it's okay. If you are sick, call the elders, call the generals of the church and let them pray over him. That they will pray over you. I never forget. I went through something early on in my situation with that sister. I got stabbed by her mother. And when I got out the hospital and we came back home, General Mayak was there. And General Mayak stood with me and her, and we prayed together. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember that was heavy for me because prior to that, the only prayers I'd ever seen or heard was done in the school facing the east. You know what I'm saying? I had never had anyone pray with me over a personal situation, over something I was going through. And I remember General Mayock prayed for protection over our house, prayed for protection of me and for her and this and that. And man, it was the scriptures coming to life for me. Some of us need to be prayed for. Not the prayer, not the anointing prayer we say when we out there facing the east, not the prayer at the Sabbath service, but a specific prayer about what you're specifically going through. We can't pray for you if we don't know you're going through. We can't pray for if you don't call and confess what you're going through and to be, unashamed to get the help that you need. Satan wants you to be ashamed. Satan wants you to be by yourself. That demon in you wants you to be alone and suffering because it feeds off of your doubt, feeds off of your insecurity. It feeds off of your shame. Free yourself from that. Call and get some help and confess and face the difficult things so that you can begin to heal, so that you can begin to be more of the man and the woman that the Most High called you to be. Everybody understand? Keep reading. This is James 5:14 in the middle. And let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Most High. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Lord shall raise him up. And if he have committed any sins, they shall be forgiven him. Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. You understand? Some of you are not confessing your faults. Some of you are not even acknowledging you're sick. You are sick. You are sick in many ways that you don't even know, you can't even comprehend, and you need to take some time to heal. You cannot take time to heal if you don't seek out the physician to get the medication. In the truth, the medication you're going to receive is the word of the Lord. Some of us need pill medication. Some of us need therapy medication. Some of us need, shadow work medication. And you're going to have to go to Esau to get it. You got to go to the therapist and talk to him and tell him what's going on. And whatever you're dealing with is on that chart. You think you're dealing with some outer worldly, unusual shit. You think your shit is, man, nobody goes through this. I lost an eyeball. Sat there, and the nigga showed me a chart where everything I was dealing with was on the chart, which was a relief because it was like, okay, I'm not crazy. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was losing my fucking mind because I don't feel nothing. I don't want to do shit. I don't even care. I'm blessed. I lost an eye. I could have lost my teeth. I could have lost my nose. Could have knocked half my nose off. I could have got hit in the middle of the head and been brain dead. How am I sad when all I lost was a little punk ass eyeball? I got 2 eyeballs. I can still see. You know what I'm saying? I look good still. I could have had a big ass gash across my face. Listen, I have no reason to be sad. Yet I'm sad. Well, the cat showed me the chart, and I was like, oh, shit, this ain't even no special shit. It's just what happens. He was like, yeah, it's what happened. I'm crying, ball of tears and shit, but I'm like, so I'm not a bitch? He was like, nah, you're not a bitch, dude. You're not. And I'm telling him, I'm a super masculine cat. I'm a manly man. I'm the manliest man of men. You know what I'm saying? I go in a room with niggas like Shamgar, and I don't feel no kind of way. I'm in the room, this nigga, he with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a manly man. I talked to the cat. He showed me the chart. I'm not a bitch. He's like, nah, you're not a bitch. I'm crying and shit. Like, he was like, it's normal, man. And a lot of people go through this and never get the help, so they don't understand what they're dealing with. And I thought of all the years that I drank. I thought of all the years that I just met women and, never brought them into school. Look, y'all shower by the first woman y'all done met that I've had been my wife other than the other woman. You know how many wives I've had? How many women have come and gone that y'all would never know about because I said, this bitch ain't worthy for me to bring around y'all. You know what it took for me to, and then I got showered by, and she said, well, if she wasn't worthy for you to bring around to school, why would you deal with her? I'm like, bitch, shut your mouth. But in my head, I'm like, damn, hold up now. If the bitch ain't worth me bringing around the brothers and the sisters, why is she worth me dealing with her? Hold up, B. What the fuck? That shit ate at me for some time. In my mind, I'm like, the bitches don't want me getting over ribs. But also, though, which might be true, but also, though, goddamn. Well, hold on now. Why do I think she's good enough for me to fuck if she ain't good enough to be brought around y'all? What part of my life is accepting of a bitch that I wouldn't bring around y'all? I remember when I was young in the world, there was women that I would, I'd get with them in the car, get a hotel room. I'd take them to their place. But nah, bitch, you can't come to my mother's house. I had a partner I called. Hey, where you at, man, what you doing? Hey, me use the apartment right quick. Man, I pay, get the sheets washed. Boom, I bring them over there. But they were bitches I would not bring to my mother's house because you don't deserve to go there. You don't deserve to know where I live. You know what I'm saying? Well, goddamn, how I come in the truth and think that it's okay to deal with bitches that I wouldn't bring around y'all? I remember when I said to myself, I ain't getting counsel no more about these bitches. everyone I got counsel for, I'm gonna say, nah, don't do that. Come on, man, what you doing? And I remember when it was logical to me, it was righteous to me. In my mind, I just ain't gonna talk to him no more. It don't matter. It's my business. What's the worst that can happen? I know I'm gonna be a righteous man of the Lord. I'm gonna be honest with her. If she wake up one day and don't want to do this no more, that's on her. She wake up and say, you know what, I ain't really, all right, hey, listen, shawty, I feel you. I understand. It's difficult being with a man like me. It's hard. I got a lot of stuff going on. You don't want to do this no more. Hey, look, I ain't gonna fight you and hold you. And I'm talking about ain't nothing wrong. Don't got no conscience, feel bad. And even now, I could still do it and wouldn't be unrighteous. But would it be who the Lord called you to be? You know what I'm saying? There's levels, Doc. The base level is righteousness. Be righteous. That's the lowest. The least you can do is be righteous. But then there's another level of, can I live with that? Righteous and, righteous and perfection is a big gulf between righteous and perfection. The Lord called us to be perfect, God. Christ need niggas to be perfect, God. You can't be perfect if you don't heal. You will not be perfect if you don't get help. Your kids won't be perfect if you don't heal. Your kids will not know how to get help if they don't see you get help. Now this shit ain't even about you no more. Now it's about your kids. You was born into the family you was born into and lived that life in the world because you deserved that life. And the Lord saw fit for you to go through that. Some of us having children in the truth, they deserve better. Some of us got kids that the Lord said, you so special and amazing, you're going to be born to a man who is in the truth, who knows the Lord. But damn, what if you don't give that kid what he's supposed to give so that he grows up wanting to honor the Lord? If you never go through the hard shit of healing, how you going to teach your son how to heal? How you going to teach your daughter how to heal? If you just go through life fighting and never healing, denying the pain, denying that you're suffering, how can you teach the people who look to you for everything how to do it? I thank the Lord. I thank the Lord he saw fit for me to go through it. I thank the Lord he saw fit for me to suffer it. I thank the Lord he saw fit for me to learn the lessons that I needed to learn so that I could pass them on to the people that the Lord put in my life for me to pass them on to. I pray you do the same. I pray you don't play with your life. You don't play with your salvation, that you do the work that needs to be done so that you can be the best version of yourself, because that is who is required for us to get through what is coming. Dog, I got it in the class, Salakia. I got it, you know what I'm saying? It's class tomorrow. And you can call anytime for counsel, for help. But the Lord, I just thank the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And I know for all of us, Passover was as amazing as it needed to be. It was as necessary as it needed to be. Do not fail to reflect. Do not fail to receive what it was the Lord showed you. For some of us, it might have been some things that were difficult to deal with, some things that were hard to face. It may not have been a rejuvenating Passover for you. It may have been a Passover that made you say to yourself, well, damn, I ain't been doing all I'm supposed to be doing. Better face it. Acknowledge it. And let it heal you. Let it make you better. I remember when I was young and I came into the truth, man. I remember sitting in class and saying, I remember in my head saying, these men are going to make me a man. They're going to help me to be a man. They're going to help me to, be responsible and handle my business and not run from shit. And I thank the Lord that 15 years later, I still feel the same way. These men made me a man. And they've continued to help me be more manly. And there's, brother, whatever man you are, trust me, you can be more manly. Whatever righteousness you have, you can be more righteous. Whatever strength you have, you can be more stronger. But you don't get strong if you don't hurt. Another conversation I had with a brother, we was talking about working out. So since I've been healing and getting back to myself, I've been in the gym. I've been watching brothers online. Some of you cats super bench pressing 315. I don't know where you get it from. Captain Goodall, how you one of them? Y'all cats super strong and swole. I low-key think you might be on that medicine, but I can't prove it. I just recently found out about a year ago, brothers was taking pre-workout. I mean, one time I was in South Carolina with Captain Nicard. We went to the gym together. And before we went to the gym, he got this powder out of his bag and put it in a water bottle and shook it up. And he was like, you want some of this? And I'm like, no, I'm straight. I'm in my mind, I'm like, no, I don't want that super swole ass, whatever you want. I'm good. But I could see the difference in Captain Nicard. At one point, y'all been around long enough, Captain Nicard was a skinny cat. And out of nowhere, he got swole. Whatever, Lord be with him. Years later, I found out it was pre-work. We get in the gym. I'm in the gym with a car. He throwing up weights and shit and jumping and stretching and doing all types of shit. I'm in there on a treadmill, like walking. I'm like, I don't know where nigga get the strength from. All these years, I'm thinking something wrong with me. You niggas had pre-workout. I didn't even know that was a thing. I got the pre-workout out, and I go in the gym and lift weights. I still ain't lifting as much as y'all, but I can go get through a full 12 exercise workout. I used to be in the gym like, how the nigga be in there for an hour and a half? Like, why you ain't burnt out after 30 minutes, nigga? You done did 4 lifting exercises. Come to find out, niggas got mid-workout drinks. Pre-workout, mid-workout. Then the nigga finish is an after-workout drink. The whole time I'm thinking I'm just a fat piece of shit that don't want to work out. Niggas got tools they wasn't telling us about. You know what I'm saying? I done been through some stuff in here. I'm trying to give y'all the tools. I'm trying to make sure that I give you all you need. But I brought that up to say I was talking with a brother and I was telling him about how I've been in the gym and I've been learning about how muscles grow and develop. And hypertrophy is what builds up muscles. But hypertrophy is the result of you breaking the fibers of the muscles in your body. So if you want to get stronger, you've got to physically break parts of your body that need to be healed. And in the healing, they make calluses, small calluses, and that's what makes your muscles big. Well, why would your spirit be any different? How can you grow spiritually if you're never tested, if you never tried, if you never faced a hard thing? There's something in your life that you are not trying to face. And you're strong. You're mighty. You're a conqueror. You're a warrior of the Lord. How much stronger could you be, Ak, if you stop running like a bitch? How much stronger could you be if you stop living in the darkness? How much stronger could you be if you stop praying that nobody finds out? Fuck that. That's what you got to fight. That's what you got to face. That's what you got to acknowledge you're sick and get prayer for. You might not be ready to confess now, but call and get some help. So like listen, it was several conversations I had with General Muhammad before I talked to him in Houston. And he told me, I've been waiting for 15 years to have this talk with you. It ain't going to be, you ain't going to go and just say, oh, I would spill all the beans. But start. Call and say, Salaki, sir, I'm sick. I need some help. I don't even really know where to begin, but I know that I'm not the man that I need to be, and I want to be able to get better. I just don't know, where to start. It starts there. You know, I can do this. When I told the gentleman Hyman about how I was not wanting to go to camp, not because I don't want to go to camp, but I don't care if I go or not. And I love camp. Anytime I get clipped, I'm fucked up. I was miserable here in Memphis for so many years because I couldn't go to camp. Literally, I'd get off the slavery at 5 in the morning on Saturday. I can't drive 3 hours and then go to camp in Nashville and drive. Like, it was too much. And it made me depressed. I hated it. And I get injured and I'm free to go make the trip, but I'm just like, I don't care. And so when I called him to get counsel, he didn't say, he didn't ask a lot of questions. He didn't get to the root. He just said, well, listen, you can just not go. Or you can go. But, whether you want to go or not is, that's Satan. You got to fight that. It's not how you feel about doing it or not doing it. It's the doing it. And that was the first talk we had. And it helped me to just either I'm going to do it or I'm not. How I feel, I got to fuck all that, how you feeling, who cares? But you got to go do it. But then I brought that out in my therapy session and talked about it. And he let me know that's part of being in the red zone. It's not because you're weak or because you don't want to go do the things that are important to you. It's not that you don't want to go do your community outreach. It's not that you don't care about the community. You're just not in a space physiologically to desire to do it. And that's part of being in the danger zone. And he was able to, I felt better. Okay, I get it. It's not that I'm a hoe. It's not that I'm a bitch. It's not that I'm losing my spirit and I'm not fervent for the Lord. I haven't healed yet. And then weeks later, I called Gentleman Hyman again about the situation. He say, I tell him how I've been going to the therapist and it's working and I'm feeling better, but I still this and that. And he said, well, listen, it's it take time. Just like you coming to the truth, things don't happen overnight. But as long as you make sure that you're doing what the Lord said to do, it'll work itself out. Don't sweat it. Boom. Okay, no sweat. Going through stuff, more things at home, more healing, more conversations with my rib and different stuff going on in my life. And then I get down there to Houston and I say, I talk to him and I tell him, I know that where I am is not good enough. And I need to be a better man for my rib, for my daughter, for my mother. I tell him, I want more wives. Now that I've got the experience of having a good woman and knowing what a good woman is like, I want more of this. And I don't want shitty women. Like, I don't know how to identify a good woman from a shitty woman. They all, and he tells me, well, this is what you got to do. This is what's going on. And he puts some things in place and we have a conversation. And at the end of the conversation, he tells me, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I've been waiting for this. The Lord showed me something when you was young in the truth. The Lord said, when the time come, you had this talk. That's when you know that he's ready. And he said, I've been waiting to have this conversation with you for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, damn. In my mind, it was like, I wasted 15 years. But it also, I knew that I couldn't have had this talk with him when I was young in the truth because I was ashamed, because I was afraid. You understand? And it took going through all of this for me to say, fuck that shame. Fuck that fear. I need help. And this nigga got to help me because he told me he would help me. You remember that. You don't want to call somebody to get help. You don't want to call because you're ashamed or you're afraid. We literally stand on helping you with anything. What are you going through that you're going to call us and we be like, I don't know about that. That's some different shit. Oh, we not men of God, if that's the case. But for you to never test it, for you to never call with the problem, that's a you problem. Do not let the Lord's salvation pass you by because you decided to sit on some shit that you should have got help for. With that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Under commanding General Yohana since 1969, we have been teaching the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies them as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2026, there is nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on this earth. We have these classes here in Memphis Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. You brothers and sisters got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the ISUPK. With that, Shalom Israel. See y'all tomorrow for class.